Hello everyone. I'll be talking about the purchasing power parity theory. So these are the currencies that are used for purchasing goods and services. So value of a currency, that is money, depends upon the quantity of goods and services one can purchase with the respective currency. Thus, the value of money is its purchasing power. Exchange rate can also be mentioned on the basis of this purchasing power. Let's look at some examples. If we take an orange, right? Suppose 60 rupees can purchase 1 kg orange and $1 USD can purchase a 1 kg orange. So we can uh, express this in terms of the orange. So the 60 rupees is equal to the 1 kg orange, and it is also 1 USD. So the expression is on this basis of the parity of purchasing power of the two currencies. So what affects the purchasing power? Purchasing power is affected by inflation or deflation. As we all know, we are facing inflation all around the world. The prices of fuel have increased. The price of goods have increased. Example would be the milk that's been going on social media. It used to be what, $5, $6, and it's close to about $9 now. So one's purchasing power is affected by the price of goods and services. So when there is inflation, price level increases, quantity of goods that can be purchased by one unit of currency declines. Thus, the purchasing power also declines and vice versa. Thus, deflation and inflation affect the exchange rate. To conclude, purchasing power parity theory explains the relationship between exchange rate and inflation. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Vinil Gosai, and today I will be presenting on the first question of our assignment, which required us to forecast the 1 year and 2 year interest rates using the purchasing power parity as well as the international Fisher effect. So I will be presenting on the international Fisher effect. So first of all, our formula is spot rate multiplied by 1 plus nominal interest rate of quote currency to the power n over 1 plus nominal interest rate of base currency to the power n. So using this formula, we calculate our 1 year and 2 year interest rates. So for our first year, our answer comes to 1.307, that is the interest rate for the first year. And using the same formula, we calculate our interest rate for the second year, which comes to 1.3096. So using the formula, we calculated both of our interest rates, and as we can see, our interest rate for the first year is lower than the calculated amount for 2 years.
Interest currently paid on borrowed amount is 0.577% times 1 million. So the answer is 5,770. Interest paid on borrowed amount, if the interest has increased to 0.5%, so 1.077% times 1 million is 10,770. Gain on FRA, if interest rate increased by 0.5%, so 0.5% times 1 million is 5,000. So therefore in this case the CEO will pay more interest, but at the same time he will gain 500,000 on FRA, and thus the net effect in this case will be equivalent to 0. Long and short position. A long position is executed trade where the trader expects the underlying instructions to appropriate. For example, when a trader executes a buy order, they hold a long position underlying instruction they bought, that is USD over JPY. A long position is one where an investor purchases a call option. Thus, a long position also benefits from a rise in the underlying asset's price. A long position is put is included the price of a put option. A short position is essential in the opposite of a long position. The difference between a higher price selling and a lower price selling is profit. Executing or trading a short position is a bit more complicated than purchasing assets. Hedging interest rate risk. The instructions include interest rate swaps, interest rate futures, options of future, forward rate agreements, and options to forward rate agreements. Thank you.
Today I will be discussing on question 3 part B and C. So first of all, I would like to describe what is a forward contract. It's a contract between two parties that specify a fixed rate of interest to be paid or received at a future time. Secondly, who is the user of forward rate? Borrowers they desire or need to change their interest rate or cash flow profile to meet their specified demand might use forward contract. Forward contracts are used by borrowers who want to protect themselves from or take advantage of future interest rate change. In the market where variable interest rates are likely to rise, variable rate borrowers would utilize forward contract to change their interest cost by changing from a variable rate to a fixed rate interest payer. In the market where variable interest rates are likely to decline, fixed rate borrowers might utilize a forward contract to convert from fixed to variable floating interest rate. So in this case, we recommend that Nestle should be the seller in this case, where the company can make more money by selling 1 million euros in the market price if the interest rate increased by 0.5%. At 0.077%, Nestle will receive UK 1,774 euro 1 million at a time where Nestle could receive UK 1,577 million by selling euro 1 million in the spot rate. Thus, Nestle can attempt to default the contract or cancel the contract. Part C. How can forward contract agreement can assist Nestle from converting variable floating interest payer to fixed interest payer by settling a future interest rate today for a specific period of time and amount by concluding a forward contract agreement. Whereas after 90 days, the interest rate is expected to rise in the market. Forward contract agreement can protect Nestle from or take advantage of future rate movement. Now I would like to give this time to Rima to discuss question 3. Thank you.
Hello everyone, today I'll be discussing question 3 of our report. Question 3 states that we have to explain to our CEO what forfeiting is, how forfeiting occurs, and the implication of forfeiting on swaps transaction. So let's know what forfeiting is. So forfeiting is a trade financing method where the exporter sells their foreign receivables to a forfeiter at a discount. This can be long term or medium term. So, who are forfeiters? Forfeiters are third parties who are mainly banks. So, the process is that the exporters sell their receivables to the forfeiters, which are the banks, and then the forfeiter pays the exporter. And in that process, the forfeiter demands payment from the importer. If the importer fails or defaults, the forfeiter has no authority to collect any form of payment from the exporter. So this is how forfeiting works. We have our importer, exporter, and forfeiter, which is the bank. So importer gives receivables. Receivables can be in form of promise notes. So importer gives receivables to exporter. Exporter sells the receivable to a forfeiter, and the forfeiter buys the receivables. Why does forfeiting occurs? Well, forfeiting occurs when exporters want to reduce the risk of default payment. And there's another one, which is exporters want immediate fundings. Immediate fundings can be when exporters produce goods on credit and they are required to sell those goods to pay up their credit. So there's a requirement for immediate fundings. And in this case, this is very relevant, which is purchasing of capital goods. Capital goods, as we know, Nestle Fiji wants to purchase manufacturing equipment from Japanese suppliers. So lastly, does forfeiting affect swaps transaction? Yes, it does. How does it affect? Well, forfeiting reduces or gets rid of the risk of default importers. Default of payments, default importers, and there's another one is when credit transaction is changed into cash transaction. Credit transaction is when importer gives receivables to the exporter. That is a credit transaction. And when the exporter sells the receivable to the forfeiter, and the forfeiter pays the exporters, that becomes cash transaction. So there is a credit to cash. So that is another reason why forfeiting affects swaps transaction. And I hope that you all enjoyed our presentation and have a nice day. Thank you.